on the scorched plains and rugged mountains of South Africa. Baboons are more than just a part of nature. They are the silent ruler, smart enough, bold enough, and powerfully adapted to dominate a vast ecological area. It is estimated that there are more than 2 million baboons in Africa today, and South Africa has the largest concentration, especially in the Western Cape, Eastern Cape, KwaZulu-Natal, and the semi-desert Karoo. In open forest areas near water sources, densities can reach 80 to 100 per square kilometre, making them easy to access farms, orchards and residential areas. Initially, baboons were just familiar with wildlife, but in recent decades, as urban areas expanded and agriculture developed strongly, they no longer maintained the same survival habits as before. They began to change their behavior, approaching residential areas, destroying agricultural products, and confronting humans more and more. And from here, a simmering but fierce conflict began to appear across South Africa. Baboons live in large herds, very large, from 30 to over 100 individuals, move like a disciplined wild machine. Thanks to their developed brains, they have long memories, they are keen observers and especially learn from experience. When they see a food source that is easy to reach, they will return, on time, every day. It is this intelligence that makes them the most difficult species to control in South Africa. In urban areas, they are much more daring. They climb roofs, pull down rubbish bins, open windows, and even sneak into houses to look for food like experienced thieves. In the Western Cape, many families have returned home to find their kitchens completely turned upside down.
The baboons trashing the house.
Smart, quick, stubborn, baboons are becoming a real nightmare for South Africans. The damage caused by baboons in South Africa is much greater than many people think. Every year, they destroy crops, dig up tree stumps, and ransack orchards, causing farmers to suffer. Studies estimate the direct damage to South African agriculture at $4.6 million a year, mainly from fruit and vegetable crops. In plantation forests, the numbers are even worse. Damage over an area of 600, 1,000 hectares can be as high as $2–3 million rand. That's hundreds of thousands of dollars. The Western Cape and many other areas spend millions of rand each year on fencing, protecting rubbish bins, reinforcing windows, and maintaining anti-baboon patrols. In total, the cost of agriculture, plantation forests, and conflict management can be as high as $10–15 million a year. Faced with this situation, the South African government was forced to take control measures. Some areas allow hunting under conditions, with proper permits and knowledge of gun safety. This is not just hunting, it is instinct, it is a challenge, it is survival. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to follow every breath of the battle right away. November dawn in the mountains of the Western Cape, South Africa. Cold, bitter wind. The sun is still weak. The hunter stands behind a large rock. A thick coat is still not enough to keep out the cold of the semi-desert early in the day. Then a sound rang out. Small, quick, the sound of baboon feet crunching on dry ground. Seconds later, the whole herd appeared. More than 30. Black. Agile. They slithered down the mountainside like living shadows. The leader, an old male with sharp curved tusks, climbed up the high rock, watching all directions with fierce vigilance. The hunter raised his gun. Slow. Steady. Just enough distance to shoot accurately. An adult baboon broke away from the herd, rushed toward the apple orchard at the foot of the mountain. Golden opportunity. He pulled the trigger. Bang! The sharp sound echoed across the mountainside.
Whoop! He's walking now.
No.
The baboon troop jumped up, screaming, chaos. They scattered into the crevices of the rocks. Some dropped fruit, others climbed up the high cliffs. The smoke cleared. The hunter lowered his gun. He silently watched the chaos before him. A tense moment, but familiar to those who have spent many years facing this most intelligent and unpredictable animal. But have we ever wondered what makes baboons behave so strongly? Perhaps the answer lies within us. Humans expand land, exploit forests, encroach into lands that were once the baboon's natural territory. Dense forests, originally a shelter and food source, now giving way to farms and large residential areas. As the habitat is narrowed, natural food sources are also depleted. And to survive, they are forced to get closer to humans, find trash cans, break windows, search kitchens, because there, food is much more abundant than in the dry mountain forests that are shrinking every day.
You guys gotta get out of here, man.
Unintentionally, it is the change of humans has pushed this monkey species to the edge of a reckless adaptation.
Get out of there! He's just going for it, bro. There's infestation, you oaks.
No, it's the destruction is done.
Eating chicken.
Here we have some baboons in a kitchen, just hanging out.
In addition to guns, some hunters choose bows and arrows. This method is quieter, does not make the whole herd run away after the first shot.
I've got to be honest, that's a violent shot. Jesus.
Perfect.
On the cliff ahead, the baboon's cry echoed down. The hunter stopped, holding his breath. Distance 30 meters. A rare opportunity. He pulled back the bowstring. Slow, steady. The arrow vibrated in his hand, pointing straight at the target. As the male baboon turned its head away, he let go. Whoosh! The baboon was hit and collapsed on the rock. The whole herd immediately jumped up, screaming in chaos. Others climbed back up the steep cliff. The hunter remained in his position, calmly drew another arrow as the echoes of the baboon flock echoed throughout the valley.
Yep. That is a hit.
However, if the shot misses the vital point, the baboon will run straight into the forest, causing the hunt to fail. Therefore, bow hunting only yields 2 to 4 baboons per day, but it is the method chosen by many people. The war between humans and baboons is still ongoing. On one side are farmers protecting their crops and property. On the other side are intelligent primates, adapting quickly and becoming bolder. As nature changes, baboons change in their own way.
Second opportunity. Bam, nailed him. So I think we just need to be patient. You never know.
And in South Africa, the balance between human livelihoods and the survival of this animal remains a difficult problem that has lasted for generations. But there are camels symbols of the scorched desert, not just the Middle East or North Africa. Few would suspect, Australia is home to the largest population of wild camels on the planet. Today, an estimated 1.2 million roam the wild. Most of them are dromedary camels, introduced to Australia in the 19th century, for transporting goods and exploring the terrain. When motor vehicles arrived, they were left in the desert, and then they multiplied, fast, strong, uncontrollable. They are widely distributed across Western Australia, South Australia, and the Northern Territory. The dry climate does not deter them. Camels are incredibly adaptable. They can travel dozens of kilometers without drinking water. They can tolerate heat and eat thorny plants that other creatures cannot digest. In the mid-19th century, when European explorers first set foot in the harsh Australian desert, they needed an animal that could endure thirst heat, and heavy loads across hundreds of miles of sand.
Easy, easy, watch your footing there.
They found the camel. They were brought to the land of the kangaroo from India, Afghanistan, and the Middle East.
Slowly. Gently, gently. Bring him down the ramp now.
For decades, they were the ships of the desert, transporting goods, equipment, water, and even mail across lands that horses and oxen could not travel. But then came the automobile and the railway. The camel's role ended. They were abandoned in the desert, and their population exploded in ways no one expected. Time passed. They multiplied, grew, and no one controlled them. From a few hundred, there are now more than 1.2 million of them flooding Central and Western Australia. They destroy trees, break down fences, drink up livestock water tanks, and compete fiercely with native animals. Every dry season, thousands of them flock to residential areas, knock over tanks, and fight for every rare drop of water in the scorching sun. The animal was once a symbol of endurance and help. Now it has become one of Australia's most dangerous invasive species. Now, the descendants of those ancient camels are no longer merely surviving in the desert, but have become a real nightmare for modern Australia. Although exact estimates of the total cost are still incomplete. But research from 2008 showed that direct costs, including infrastructure damage, competition for water with livestock, and management costs exceeded 10 million AUD per year in just one study area. In particular, the Northern Territory lost more than 25 million USD per year. As a result, the government was forced to launch large-scale hunting campaigns, granting special permits to hunters and helicopters to control the increasingly out-of-control camel population. Over the scorched sky of Central Australia, the sound of helicopter blades screeched, tearing the silence apart. The temperature outside reached 45 degrees Celsius. Hundreds of wild camels were drifting across the parched land, their manes standing on end, their huge bodies lumbering like thirsty ghosts. Prepare for target approach. The pilot's voice rang out over the radio. The hunter leaned out of the cabin, his hand gripping his rifle, his eyes fixed on the scope. The helicopter banked sharply, lowered its altitude, and circled over the shaking sand dunes. Bang, one shot. Bang, another. The sound of the gunfire mingled with the sound of the engine. On the ground, the camels panicked, each body collapsed, heavy and full of pain. But in the distance, The herd still rushed forward. They were not afraid, did not stop. Only thirst guided them. Up above, the hunter clenched his gun, his eyes stinging from the sun. He understood clearly that this was no longer a simple hunt, but a fierce battle for survival between humans and the creatures they had brought, raised, and then lost control of.
Yep. I reckon that'll do it.
Wait for him to turn. Oh, wow.
It'll do.
Good shot.
In addition, the government deployed ground hunting teams, equipped with rifles and off-road vehicles, to hunt wild camels across the arid desert. At noon, the sun hung like fire overhead. The Australian desert was shimmering with heat, without a single tree, only the wind and the careful footsteps of the hunting team. They walked for hours, following the camel footprints deeply imprinted in the sand, stretching like wounds on the ground. There were no cars, no helicopters, just people, guns, and heavy breathing. Ahead, the camels appeared in the red dust. A hand signal, the formation dispersed. Everyone lay down. Gun barrels pointed forward. Bang! The gun rang out, dry. One fell to its knees, sand flying like a small explosion. The remaining herd panicked, spun around, roaring fiercely. They fired again, each bullet leaving the barrel in the suffocating heat. Each shot was a trade-off.
One last shot.
Cow.
Magazine.
As the sand settled, silence fell. The hunter lowered his gun, watching the giant silhouettes disappear behind the distant dunes. A campaign of such scale could take down more than 150,000 animals in just a few months, enough to suffocate an entire desert.
Good shot. Well done.
Hundreds of
Great
hunting
shot.
parties, helicopters, and ground teams worked together like a cold machine, moving endlessly between the sand and the sun.
Oh, I reckon he'll go.
The number was not just a statistic, it was thousands of bodies rolling on the sand, a source of water saved for the whole community, but also a heavy question mark about the ecological and moral price that humans had to pay.
Oh, good shot. That's it. Wow, look at that.